The bonded birth certificate, understanding legal identity and government control. Birth certificate registration and commercialization. When a child is born in the United States, or in most countries worldwide, a birth certificate is registered with the state's Bureau of Vital Statistics. The operative term here is registered, which, in the context of international commercial law, signifies entry into a commercial registry. Once this certificate is submitted to the U.S. Department of Commerce, the Department of Treasury issues a bond against it, reportedly valued at $1 million. This bond can then be sold on the securities exchange and possibly purchased by institutions like the Federal Reserve, which uses it as collateral to issue debt obligations such as Federal Reserve notes, see 18 U.S.C. Section 511. The creation of the legal entity or strawman. With the issuance of the birth certificate, a separate legal entity is created, commonly known as the strawman. This artificial persona is symbolized by the name printed in all capital letters and is defined as the accommodation party under UCC Section 3 to 415. Unlike the living individual, the strawman functions as a corporate surrogate and is subject to jurisdiction under corporate and maritime law. Legal title, possession, and jurisdictional implications. The strawman, not the individual, holds legal title. The natural person retains only the right of use, referred to as naked possession. Consequently, legal claims filed by individuals are often dismissed under Rule 12b-6, for failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted, as the claimant is not recognized as the true title holder. When one appears in court, acknowledgement of the all caps name initiates joinder, allowing jurisdiction over the strawman. Uninformed consent and the illusion of identity. The strawman entity is created without your knowledge or consent at birth. Your parents, unaware of the implications, unintentionally allowed your biological identity to be used as collateral for the national debt. As you grow, you are subtly indoctrinated into assuming the identity of the strawman through documents like the Social Security card, tax forms, driver's license, and utility bills, all displaying your name in all capital letters. Legalese and wordplay in modern law. One of the mechanisms that sustain this system is the use of legalese, language that appears ordinary but carries different meanings within the legal framework. Most individuals, untrained in law, cannot discern these distinctions and are thus coerced into participation through ignorance and presumed consent. The maxim ignorance of the law is no excuse is used to justify this deception. Registration equals transfer of ownership. When anything is registered, be it a birth, vehicle, or piece of property, ownership is effectively transferred to the state. Individuals are left with a title or certificate, indicating permission to use but not own. The state's claim to children stems from this registration and extends until the child reaches the legal age of maturity. Marriage licenses also give the state partial ownership of offspring resulting from the union. Maritime law and the jurisdiction of vessels. Under Admiralty law, registered persons are considered documented vessels and fall under commercial jurisdiction. Your parents, already deemed wards of the state due to their own birth registration, effectively deliver you to the state through the hospital system, a legal port of entry. The state, acting in equity, creates a certificate of live birth in all caps and records it as a commercial warehouse receipt. Trust law, titles, and the bond market. Once recorded, this certificate becomes the basis for a trust, with the state as trustor and you as beneficiary and fiduciary upon reaching legal age. The certificate is registered in commercial maritime law and traded as a bond in the securities market, backed by estimates of your lifetime labor value. A copy is returned to your parents in the form of the certificate of birth. Evidence of bonding on birth certificates. Older birth certificates may have clues to this process printed on the reverse, a 6 to 10-digit number, the words revenue receipt, and for treasury purposes only. These indicators point to the instrument's financial nature and its use in international and domestic debt financing. Trust structure and the role of the registrar. Until you begin working and using a Social Security number, The Secretary of State or Registrar acts as the fiduciary trustee of the trust created in your name. Upon obtaining a Social Security card through Form SS5, you assume the fiduciary role and the associated obligations, including tax filings and regulatory compliance. Your commercial activities are now tied to the trust under maritime jurisdiction. Commercial law and enemy status in trade. Due to international legal frameworks, particularly the Trading with the Enemy Act, citizens are considered foreign agents engaging in commerce with the U.S. government under license. The Social Security number functions as a tax identification number, tying all commercial activity to the trust. As fiduciary, you are liable for managing the obligations of the trust. Conclusion: legal identity and commercial ownership. A corporation is a resident or citizen of the jurisdiction in which it was created. By consenting to registration and licensing systems, individuals are incorporated into a legal framework where their identity and productivity are leveraged as financial instruments. Recognizing the distinctions between the strawman and the living being is essential to understanding one's rights, obligations, and potential remedies in this complex system of commercial law and trust management.